In Psalm 8 and verse 4, we find one of the great questions of Scripture. In fact, it is one of life's greatest questions. What is man that you are mindful of him? The Son of Man that you care for him? What is man? Various suggestions have been made. A political animal, a poetic animal, a tool-making animal, an animal that makes bargains. The predominant view is that mankind evolved from a blob that emerged from a primeval swamp. By contrast, the Bible declares that the human family has a grand origin. Mankind was the crowning work of God's creation. All the beauty, order, complexity, diversity, and color were created with men and women in mind. Adam and Eve were the pinnacle of God's creation. They were created last, but were certainly not least. Man and woman came directly from God's hand. God's command was enough to create much of this world. He spoke, and it was so. But God crafted Adam and Eve. He was intimately involved in their creation. He breathed life into them. They were created last, but were certainly not least. Male and female were created in God's image. Adam and Eve were connected to this earth and to the animal kingdom, but they were distinct from the rest of creation. Being made in the image of God can be understood primarily in their role as stewards of the earth, but it involves other qualities as well. Our capacity for rational thought, creativity, worship, relationships, and the ability to make moral choices. Mankind was created last, but certainly not least. God made Adam and Eve free moral agents, but therein lies the tragedy of the human story. They used their freedom to disobey God. Sin entered our world with sorrow and suffering in its wake. God spelled out the consequences, but before that, He gave them the promise of rescue and a great deliverer. The Bible reveals mankind's grand origins, created by God's hand in His image. It also reveals mankind's grand destiny, restored to fellowship with God for eternity.